Hi, hello, welcome to IAS Factors Radar, and I am Arjun R. Shankar. Russia is making waves and headlines again, and this time with a concept called Burevestnik. So, what exactly is this Burevestnik? The NATO, North Atlantic Treaty Organization, and the Western countries are calling it the Skyfall. It's a nuclear capable cruise missile developed by Russia. All these years, Russia was toiling very hard to create this it's a massive cruise missile which is powered by nuclear energy. That is the key word. They have started making nuclear power with a large, massive missile. And so far, it is even said that the United States of America and NATO's missile system and the defense system that they created is an invincible system. It's very hard to penetrate. But Russia took it as a challenge and they created Burevestnik as a counterpart to tranquilize and neutralize the defense wall of the Western countries, including NATO as well as United States of America. So what is this Burevestnik? It flew almost for 15 hours. It flew almost for 15 hours and went up to 8,700 miles, almost 14,000 kilometers. One of the biggest, and Russia has said that we have even breached our own limits. 15 hours and almost 14,000 kilometers. It's really massive. Now let's know more about Burevestnik. Since 2018, Russia is behind this, and the Russian state weapons manufacturer Rosatom and the country's defense ministry have geared up to create this thing. What is so unique about this missile, Burevestnik, is the capacity, the nuclear component inside this. Unlike the normal missiles, which works on combustion and jet fuel, you don't need all this here. You have the nuclear power. Let's understand how it works. The missile has an onboard nuclear reactor. The missile has got an onboard nuclear reactor which does the magic. So let's imagine it has got the conventional rocket booster. Just like the normal rockets, they use the normal conventional rocket booster to get the initial launch. And once you get the initial launch and once you are airborne, the nuclear propulsion system starts. What happens is the incoming air, the nuclear propulsion system treats or heats up the incoming air to create a thrust. That's how it keeps moving. It works exactly like a ramjet, but no combustion. You heat the incoming air. So this is the technology, and that is the reason why it can go a long duration. And one of the most interesting thing to be noted here is it can fly at low altitude and it can go undetected by almost any radars, and it can almost circumnavigate the globe before striking the targets. And look at the American and the NATO defense shields. It is even estimated that the NATO and the United States of America's defense system is not capable enough to stop the incoming Burevestnik. So that is a key thing to be noted. Why this is called invincible is because you can expect this skyfall from any direction. It can come from any unexpected direction. It can even come from South Pole, and it will be very difficult to stop this. So this is what Russians have created in this Burevestnik, and this time Russia is trying a lot to create a defense system which will outmatch the defense capabilities of the Western countries and United States of America. So take a look at the recent things that Russia has done. Russia has got this avant-garde hypersonic glide vehicles, the Poseidon underwater drones, and even Sarmat, the ICBM, the Intercontinental Ballistic Missile. It's one of the biggest, and it claims that it can go up to 18,000 kilometers. So all this is Russian technology coming together. Let's also decode some of the backstories involved in this. It's not that one fine morning Russia came up with a large, massive missile. There was a lot of testing going on, and when you have testing, there are a lot of disasters associated with this. From 2018 to 21, we can see a lot of instances, failed missions, failed flights, crashes into the sea. All of this was very common. And even there are instances of nuclear fallout. Almost there was a nuclear fallout when massive explosions happened near the nuclear sites, when a lot of scientists, nuclear scientists, were killed in this accident. So only after all this thing, they have come up with a large missile. And why this missile is now very pertinent is because in the wake of the Russia-Ukraine war, and also in the wake of Russia versus the Western countries, together with United States of America, with NATO, it's almost like a two-block situation. So in this situation, the Western countries will now fear Russia because of this military capability that Russia has. So how is this tackled over the years? And I would like to bring forward the very important concept called as INF and START, the Intermediate Nuclear Forces of 1987, and the START, Strategic Arms Reduction Treaties. All these treaties are in existence only because United States of America and representing the Western countries and Russia wanted to strike a peace deal. So you know that how difficult it is to have a nuclear catastrophe, especially when all the countries are having nuclear weapons. There is always a risk. There is always a chance for a nuclear fallout. To prevent such nuclear events and nuclear catastrophes, countries have come together to create a peace deal. So INF, the Intermediate Nuclear Forces, and START is all an example where we'll use nuclear power and nuclear missiles responsibly. I'll tell you what almost INF, which was started in 1987, and START, Strategic Arms Reduction Treaty, which started in 2010, which is set to expire in 2026, have all one thing in common. That between Russia, or back in 87 it was Soviet Union, or Russia and United States, we have massive number of nuclear warheads. We will limit the number of nuclear warheads that we'll have. So what is the ultimate reality? When we limit the number of nuclear warheads, means there is no nuclear power at place. So both this INF and START made sure that they cut down the nuclear warheads by a massive number. According to the INF in 1991, almost 2,700 nuclear warheads were destroyed. So this was a great thing, but the INF, what happened is 2019, United States of America backed out of INF, and START is set to expire in 2026. So even when you have strong treaties like this in existence, countries like Russia and United States have always been at loggerheads for a great war. To counter all this, United States of America already had a great proposal for a golden dome. It had a great proposal for a concept of golden dome, which is to create an impenetrable shield-like thing which was targeted against Russia, that no missile ever could penetrate the US Golden Dome system. But Burevestnik is an answer to all this thing. So what is the broader implication of all this? Just imagine when countries are busy creating missiles, automatically there creates an arms race or a nuclear arms race. So this shifts the country's attention. All of them are busy creating nuclear weapons. It diverts their attention to welfare activities. So that is one broader implication that countries have. And next is going to be a technological escalation. Now the main focus is to upgrade technology to create more weapons and more weapons. So you use the technology for only defense purpose. That is a gross waste of the technology itself. That is one very important aspect. And look at the environmental aspect. We've already discussed about various crashes and disasters that happened in Russia where people died. Imagine an explosion happening near a nuclear contamination site. Just imagine the extent of the trauma of the radioactive contamination or the nuclear pollution that can happen. So all this is a very, very serious broader implication as far as the missile systems is concerned. So let's hope that maybe Russia has got up with the Burevestnik and America has got the Golden Dome, and next day, who knows, they will come up with another thing and the world will still keep fighting.